Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want to talk about putting in work, doing what's necessary in order to succeed. A lot of people want to go from point A to point Z, from the beginning to the end, without doing any of the steps in between. If you can't get from A to C without going to B first. You know what I mean? You have to take each step. It's just really important. It's kind of a lesson in life. People want to go really fast in life, and they want to become more than they're capable of, faster than they're able to. They may have dreams and goals, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in order to accomplish those, you have to take the steps necessary. You have to really put in the work. That's the difference between people who accomplish goals and people who just dream about stuff. A buddy of mine wanted to be a good airbrusher, so I bought him an airbrush kit. It wasn't really expensive. I found it online, bought a nice starter kit, and he fucked around with it for a little bit and then gave up. Complained about how he just really wasn't good at it. We have another friend that he knew that I could reference and say, hey, you know why that Brian is over there making all that money and getting in magazines and basically getting famous for his painting, for doing what you're doing. You'd like to be where he's at. You see how he's got such a cool shop, and you know, you'd like to be where he do what he's doing. Well, you know what Brian does every day? That motherfucker paints. You're sitting around drinking, you know what Brian's doing right now? He's painting. When you go to bed, he's still gonna be there painting. You get up to take a piss, and later tonight, that motherfucker will probably still be in the shop painting. He's painting all the time. He's obsessed with it. And that's why he's successful. You got to put in the work. You can find this kind of stuff. I found myself frustrated with not getting fast enough with my spiritual development. And I got heavily, when I went sober 20 years ago, I got heavily into religion and spirituality, existentialism, that kind of stuff, philosophy, all kinds of shit like that. I was really trying to better myself in a lot of different ways, and I just kind of stumbled into religion. I had another video, which is kind of funny, about how I became a born-again Christian. Yeah, I'm technically a born-again Christian, and it's a funny video, so go watch it. But I was studying Buddhism because I thought that it was pretty cool. And Buddhism is different than Christianity or Judaism. It's it's Eastern religion. It's more philosophy than religion. It seemed pretty cool, but I just kind of run into a brick wall with it. I read every book you can read, pretty much. I mean, I'd go to the bookstore, and they would have nothing new, nothing that I read everything. My bookshelf in the other room, go in my office, I got way too many books on Buddhism. And I noticed that I was buying book after book, hungry to try to become a Buddhist and to get into this Buddhism thing. And I was learning it. I just couldn't figure out how to really get into it. And I just wanted to look for, maybe I'd find another book that was really going to make things click. Like, aha, this is what it is. And I guess now I'm a Buddhist. Never happened. Well, I have an aunt who, my mom has 4 sisters. Her oldest sister, Dale, lives out in Colorado. She travels the world, but she lives out in Colorado. She works at the Naropa University, whatever that's called, if you're familiar with that, in Boulder. She also started the Shambhala Center with that guy, Chigoyam Rinpoche, famous Buddhist dude. She helped start that whole place with him. She's best friends with that motherfucker. She hangs out with the Dalai Lama. She's up at that level. So I called her, and I was just like, hey, I've been interested in Buddhism for the last few years. I've read literally every single book that you can name. There's not a book, you're not going to send me a book that I haven't read yet. And I'm just not getting into it. I understand the 4 Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path. I understand the bullshit. But I'm just not there. I don't feel like I'm really, it's just not clicking. I don't know what to do. And she laughed and she said, there's only so much what they call Dharma practice. There's only so much education, learning that you can do with any given subject, with any topic. until at some point you got to go and do it. You got to experience it. It's like with school. You can learn to go be a lawyer or a mechanic or whatever you go to school for. You can go to school for a lot of shit, right? There's only so much education sitting there reading books, taking notes that you can do. And they're just going to push you out there, sink or swim, bud. You got to go out there. You want to be a mechanic? Guess what you're going to have to do? You have to go work on some fucking cars. So it was the same thing with the Buddhism thing, and it's really just the same thing in any given task in life. If you want to be good in business, you have to take the steps. You can't jump over it. I've had a motorcycle shop for 19 years, almost 20 years. I started from nothing. I started in my carport with bullshit bikes, poor white trash. Nobody took us seriously. Literally, people would laugh at us and talk shit behind our backs. Luckily, they didn't say it to our face. You know, me and my brother have always been real tough. So if anybody were to say anything to our face, we could bring them to the streets, chop you into bits and put you in the dump, motherfucker, just for saying something, just for looking at us wrong. So people would always say that shit behind our backs, but it would get around to me, and I knew people took me for a joke. I knew that we were a joke, but I just kept pushing along, and I had a goal in mind. I wanted to be in this industry, and I want to do this for a living. I don't want to have another job, and I love this. I just want to be submerged in this, and I pushed forward every day, and I would take sacrifices with where I lived. People would say, God, Sky, why do you live in the ghetto? Because I'm trying to save money. I'm not going out to dinner. I'm eating cheap foods. I'm not buying new clothes, not buying new shoes. I just glue my boots together again if I need to, sew my jeans up if they get too ripped. That kind of lifestyle. Sacrifice for your goal. Go through the struggle. You never avoid struggle. And I used to complain about my struggle with the motorcycle shop. I felt underprivileged. I felt like if I could have had these trust funds or loans or secret financiers or all this stuff that some of these other guys have, people that I envy, that I would think are more successful than me. And I didn't really see what true success was, because I didn't realize that the most successful motorcycle shop owners aren't the ones with the biggest shops and the most choppers, or they're not the ones that are spending the most money. They're the ones that love it the most, that are submersed in it. It's who they are. It's not just a paycheck. It's not just something they talk about around their friends when your job topic comes up. And what do you do for a living? It's a part of them. They ooze this. They bleed it. They breathe it. And that's how you become successful. And when you go through struggle, when you're that type of person, it's just part of the process. Because the process is what you fall in love with. Like they say in Buddhism, the path is the goal. There's a whole book titled that, decent book. And it's true. Bikers say the same thing, that it's not the destination, it's the journey. And it's true with business, it's true with life. And you don't run from the struggle because you're scared of shit being hard, and it sucks because I just want things to be easy. You don't want things low. That's low aspiration. You don't want things to be easy. Being easy doesn't get you anywhere. Any kind of success in life, no matter what it is, you have to struggle for it. Guys in the military know this, some of the best. There's no free rides. You don't become a colonel without becoming a private first, and there's no colonel out there that just walked into the military and they said, oh, well, you're a pretty smart motherfucker. Why don't you just become the leader? And here you go, you're general. You're a 5-star colonel. You seem pretty good guy. Why don't we just make you the boss? That's not how it happens. You pay your dues. And every officer on the base knows how to do every single little bullshit job. They've peeled potatoes and done push-ups and ran for miles until they dropped on their faces. They've done it. It's just you who haven't. And if you want to be where they are, you're going to have to do all what they've done. It's just the way it goes. So to beat that dead horse, don't run from struggle, embrace it. And it kind of transfers over to some of your problems. If you have a messy house, you're not looking for the clean spots. You're not being lazy and living in a fantasy and just focusing on that one clean spot over there. No, you go look for the dirty spots, and you pick up those piles of junk and take out the trash and whatever you got. We all know how to clean our house, so you do those things. Life is like that, and we all are going to have a dirty house. Even rich people have dirty houses. They just get maids to clean it up for them. So don't be scared or embarrassed about going through struggle. It transfers over to trauma. If you've gone through trauma in your life, Don't be embarrassed about that trauma. If you're still going through it and you need a light at the end of the tunnel, look for that light. Let your eyes adjust to the darkness and navigate through so you can find the light and find your way out. And if you can't find your way out, become the light. Don't be scared of the trauma and who you are. Because all these little bullshit things that we've gone through, and some of us, I know I have, I really used to judge myself about who I am. And man, nobody's gonna like me because I've been through so much shit. I'm a fucked up person. And those things make you who you are just as much as the good things. And somebody who can conquer bad things and learn lessons, to me is so much wiser than a person who's never gone through anything at all. When I meet somebody who's gone through struggle, who's had fucked up shit happen to them, but can talk about it in a calm, peace, educated, introspective manner from a place of personal growth, to me that is so incredibly impressive and interesting. And we don't have to sit there and talk about our problems and have war stories about how fucked up we were and how good we are now. That's not what I'm talking about. I just think that a person who can swim through rough waters and make it to the other side is a lot stronger than somebody who can't, than somebody who just catches a ride on somebody else's boat that has them drive them. You know, we all have laughed at those trust fund babies who inherit companies and they don't know what to do. How would you? Because your father who owned it, who started that shit from nothing, had to pay his dues. And he knows what it's like to sacrifice in order to pay the bills and, whatever. So always pay your dues. Always go through the struggle. Always look for the hard route. You're not going to go from point A to point Z without going to B and C and D and E. You're going to go through every one. And I'll end the video here just to remind you of what I said before. The path is the goal. So forget about the big cars and the big houses and that type of bullshit fantasy of like as if that's the goal of life. That's not the goal of life. That's a byproduct. Success, wealth, recognition, fame, all those things, those aren't goals. You shouldn't have those as goals. Those are byproducts of goals. Those are results of goals. People who are really good at a certain thing and really love it get recognized. People want to pay them for that shit. You get it. So outlook is everything. Being focused on the path is really how you walk without tripping. You want to look where your feet are going when you're hiking. We've all been hiking. If you look too far out, you will trip and fall. Eventually, you'll get a pretty far distance and you'll look back and you'll be like, holy shit, we got really far. So thanks for watching my channel. Subscribe. I got all kinds of videos. I talk about all kinds of different topics. Just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. So thanks for watching.